Okay, so good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to my friends and subscribers. This is a requested video. So today we are going to discuss about mineral insulated cables. Okay, let me take one pen. Okay, so we are here today. We'll be discussing very briefly the design and manufacturing process of mineral insulated metal sheath cable. So basically, why I am doing this, because I love to share knowledge and I feel that the knowledge should be free. So I used to tell to everybody, to my students, that when we are going to learn something, so at the outset we should understand why we are learning, so where it will be applicable. So basically this mineral insulated cable will be used in high temperature applications. Normally the conventional cables are XLP cables, and where the temperature is slightly high, so we will use silicon, this kind of polymers. But still, when the temperature is going uh, above 200 degrees Celsius, then this kind of polymeric insulation will not work. We have to find out some alternate solution. So for mainly the high temperature application, the mineral insulated cables are only the substitutes. So basically it will be extensively used in nuclear reactors, where the neutronic signal as well as the core temperature is to be monitored minutely, because in a reactor this temperature monitoring uh, plays an important role, because there uh, from the temperature so many things are estimated, like your reactor power, whether any subassembly failed or not. All these things basically monitored by taking the core temperature. Fire alarm system, when somewhere it catches fires, then that signal, that when the fire detectors and fire alarm is uh, actuated, means it sends some fire, so the signal should be transmitted to the control station to take some necessary action. So there this MI cable is very important. And thermocouple, basically thermocouples are that it's a special kind of MI cable where the conductors are different materials. Then oil refineries, furnace, heaters, everywhere this use of MI cables are extensive. So what is basically, you see, this is the cable we have developed. This is the cable. So you see this sheath, the outer sheath is metal, and these are the two conductors. These are also copper conductor, but in between these are some minerals which is providing the insulation between these two conductor as well as this conductor to outer sheet. So here in this cable, the specialty is the outer sheath, that is metal, and some mineral, mostly magnesium oxide, is used as insulation to separate the conductors as well as to insulate between the conductor and the outer sheath. So this is basically mineral insulated cable. So why people use magnesium oxide as insulation? Because it having higher insulation resistance, that means it will which in turn provide some lesser leakage current. So the total leakage current for an insulation is the summation of this 4 current, which is conductive current, which is displacement current, then the resistive or conductive current, surface leakage current, and the polarization current. So when you are in mineral insulated cable, when you are choosing the mineral as insulation, so we should take care about the thermal expansion, because it should not, thermal expansion of that mineral should be as low as possible, because at high temperature it should not be expand more and create some unwanted stress to the outer sheath of the cable, so that it can rupture. In line with that, the density of the insulation, the mineral should be high enough to provide better contact resistance, provide its compactness, so that it should be uniform. Okay, so the density should be very high to provide some better dielectric property. Okay, and the modulus of rupture or the cold crushing strength, because this is also a very important parameter during the manufacturing of the cable. Okay, so these are the, here I am showing very brief, but here highly sophisticated technical requirement and calculations are involved in this, because it's our proprietary thing. So we are I am just sharing the process, I am not giving any technical details. So these are the so normally people will use magnesium blocks, but here we have modified it to that mineral we changed to soapstone. It's the name is steatite, so we used soapstone. So these are the crashable blocks, soapstone blocks, and these are the holes, 2 holes for inserting the conductors, copper conductors, and these are the dimensions we have used. So this manufacturing of this crushable mineral blocks involves a lot of special material property. It should follow some standards. I'm not telling the name of those standards. We are following ASTM standard. Okay. So these are the crushable mineral insulated cable blocks, which is used to manufacture the MI cable. So here we are using, even though I am telling MGO, so here we are using that crushable blocks are steatite, okay, which is also known as soapstone, as I told. So it's a type of metamorphic rock. You know, metamorphic rock, basically it's come out from that igneous of the original rock. Okay, so these soapstone blocks, what I have shown in the earlier slides, these blocks are medium hard, because it should be crashed. When I will show the next process, then you will understand it should be crashed and it will be compact, and the density should be distributed uniformly. Okay, and the chemical composition, I am not telling the chemical composition of it, just we are telling it's a soapstone, but with that so many additives are mixed to cater the required properties as mentioned is in the manufacturing standards. So that is written in some ASTM standards. Okay, so the chemical composition was also chosen to obtain the excellent thermal shock and better heat resistance. So the electrical breakdown value, so when the which is depend on the leakage resistance, that also was studied, and the results are in agreement with the requirement of MI cable manufacturing suitability. So as I told, we replaced MgO and used soapstone. So for that chemical composition, that soapstone crushable blocks, we have studied it, and it found to be accepted as per the manufacturing standard. So this involves mainly 3 steps. One is cleaning of the tube, then filling, then swaging. So these are the outer sheath. We took the copper tube. The inner diameter of this copper tube is slightly higher than the outer diameter of the crushable soapstone block, because after swaging it should the pressure should crash the soapstone block and provide a uniform insulation. So it is to be cleaned properly, otherwise it can deteriorate the dielectric property of the insulation. So to clean that, what we did, we took one small metal stick, and another end of that some tissue paper kind of things, that also having some special requirement. So it was tagged, and then isopropanol is dipped in isopropanol, and 2-3 times it is inserted and taken out. So for that, the unwanted debris, unwanted the dirt and all these things, that it's cleaned. Okay, now I am coming to the filling. You see, these are the that soapstone block. So it's one after another the conductor was inserted, and it's this process is called filling. So after filling, the next process is called swaging. So after filling, say this is one block, this is another block, and this is another block, and in between the two conductors was inserted. So that process is called filling. After filling, this entire thing, it is to be inserted to the main copper tube, which is basically the sheath. After that, it is a swaging. Basically it's a kind of cold roll. You see here 2 circular dies are there. Here it will be inserted, and basically it will reduce the diameter and slight expansion will be there, and during this process these blocks will be crashed, and this joint, this will be filled. Okay, so this process involved very high technical calculations, and based on that your chemical composition and everything is to be selected, otherwise these things will not cater. Okay, you see, after swaging, once this swaging process is done, for me I did 5 to 6 times. After that it is completely crashed. But once it is swaged, so basically, you know, the molecular structure of the metal is disarranged. Due to that, the brittleness, the hardness of the material, the copper tube increased, which cannot be used in site condition, because it needs some kind of ductility. So you have to bring back the original property of the material. So for that, basically you need to do annealing. It is nothing but, all we know, it is nothing but a heat treatment where the cold drawn or this material, is heated up above the recrystallization and cool down. So here also, when you are selecting the outer sheath material, so the temperature of the heat treatment, the maximum temperature during the heat treatment should not affect the dielectric property of the material. So all these things combining together, we have to select the material. So it's a very critical process. Okay, so this is all about this is my WhatsApp number, and this is my personal email ID. So if any further queries, so you can write to me. I'll try to help you out. Thank you so much.